Hey, Andrew here, and I have something I need to talk to you about today. And I kind of let the cat out of the bag, but I'm here to let you know that AI scales the operator, not the business. Now, I know a lot of you have been hearing about how AI is going to, help you start a business, or AI is going to save your business, or AI is going to help you grow your business. Here's the thing. Actually has a lot more to do with your personal business. AI scales the operator. Now, here's the thing, there's an assumption right now that AI is going to fix your productivity, that AI has a fix for your income, that AI is going to fix your existing levels of overwhelm. I'm here to tell you it's not quite the truth. Now, I know you don't want to hear this, but AI doesn't scale your business. AI scales you. And just let that sink for a sec. AI scales you. A lot of people aren't talking about this, but if you're already overwhelmed, if you're already fatigued or frustrated or barely making ends meet with your schedule, your focus for your family, the end of the day, end of the week, end of the month profits, like AI is going to scale more of what you already are or you already have. And if you're feeling unclear or scattered, reactive, or like you're running on fumes already, AI is going to actually make that happen faster. Now, we're seeing that. Specific opportunities that we have to learn from people who have tried to do AI and tried to figure it out, but they haven't scaled themselves first. They haven't made sure that, AI is bouncing with them, not just running off, leaving them as they've always been. Now, here's the thing. Technologies actually always work this way. And it's not the first time this concept or idea has existed. In fact, a weak foundation plus leverage of that existing weak foundation doesn't create strength. It actually creates collapse. It exposes weakness. And, here's the thing. If you give a disciplined, clear individual a little leverage, they build something more powerful. But if you give a distracted, overwhelmed, frustrated, dare I say, victim, because there's a lot of finger pointing going on in society, you give someone like that a little leverage, guess what? They're going to create more chaos. I got a few stories of people I've had the chance to meet, and I've seen both sides. But here's the thing: it doesn't have to be like that. You can create something more powerful. And, AI is leverage at the end of the day. And leverage doesn't fix the operator, it just simply amplifies it, it scales the operator. So, most people aren't actually looking for leverage. Most of the time, what we're seeing right now as we talk to business owners, small business owners, medium business size business owners, they're not looking for scale initially. They're looking for relief. They're looking for relief. And then, and only then, do they want to leverage AI to scale. Because if they don't get the relief first, how are you gonna how are you gonna handle the increase when you're barely handling your existing business? Here's the thing. Most of overwhelmed, frantic, frustrated, fatigued operators, they often want AI to think for them, decide for them, motivate them, remove the discomfort. And unfortunately, sometimes we're also seeing, in some cases, remove the responsibility entirely. But AI doesn't create clarity. What it does is it actually regulates your work. It doesn't regulate your nervous system. We know that, right? It doesn't hand you over confidence. You got to build that, right? That's the work of you. And hopefully you're watching this, you're a human. You got some flesh, and you got bone and other tissues, etc. underneath. But if you avoid the work, if you avoid developing and seeking clarity, if you don't regulate your nervous system, if you don't develop the confidence, the skills, the tools needed so that you can progress out in the world, whether it be with your family, your friends, your tribe, your community, those that you serve. Here's the thing. If you avoid that work, AI just becomes another relationship you now have to manage. And for someone that often has trouble, we've seen when you're already overwhelmed and you're having trouble managing existing client relationship, team relationships, family, I barely have enough at home to give, you know, you got to now manage AI instead of it actually something that works for you. So in order for us to really examine like how AI is going to actually scale you, we have to actually look at life a little more like a table. And there's table legs, right? We need clarity, strong clarity. We need a foundation of energy. We need a foundation of courage and productivity. We also need a foundation of influence. And if those table legs either are loose or maybe on the bottom there's a piece missing and it's not quite, you know how it is, and you shimmy something, or maybe the table leg's entirely gone. Like maybe you've just been depleted, you've been defeated, you maybe suffered a great loss, some grief. I recently actually suffered a loss in my family, my passing of my father, and that can take you a certain way. But I also developed over time the habit of energy so that I could replenish myself and be ready for when life presents you with situations. And this isn't really about how do I put more weight on an existing table that's already shaky. The question becomes, what tools should I use once, as an operator, my table is stable? The legs are solid, or at least better than they were, because I've been focusing on that clarity, energy, courage, influence, and productivity. And really asking yourself, hey, what kind of operator am I going to be? And if I'm operating from a deficit or from a shaky, unstable paradigm, then you're just going to get more of that. And here's the thing: winners, and I'm really grateful to get a chance to work with a lot of winners. Winners shift their thinking because they have a growth mindset. They don't have a fixed mindset. They don't blame others. They say, hey, what am I going to do about this? And the people that are actually winning with AI, they're not the most technical. But what I've seen is they are some of the most grounded. They're grounded. They know what matters. They know what doesn't. They are centered in themselves. They know where their energy goes. They know where their energy flows, and they're working on that. Even when they suffer some sort of loss or downturn or disappointment. And they know what success actually looks like. And, I encourage you today to ask yourself, hey, am I thinking first and then deciding? And then moving to automation. Most people right now, the AI, and they just want to run into automation. And I've actually seen business owners run an automation and then realize, oh, wait a second, it's creating more of what I already currently have. So let's redo this. Let's start with the thinking first. Let's make some better decisions. Let's start feeling better, start taking the appropriate actions so my table legs are more stable and now I have a foundation that I can build on. Let's leverage and create something magnificent. Let's compound something that's beautiful. And AI becomes super powerful when it is positioned and poised around clear thinking, not when it tries to get around you. If you're trying to get around who you are and how you think, and I'm not that confident, and I'm not sure how I think well, and if you're just like, hey, I'll put an AI, eventually, probably not too far off in the future, the gig will be up because you'll jump on a call with a prospect and it won't go anywhere, and then it won't go anywhere again. So, why are you getting AI to try and help you get on with a prospect when you should be learning how to communicate better, show up with better energy, increase your influence, right? How do you have more clarity and focus and be able to bring that intention to those that you get a chance to engage with? And so, big takeaway here is before you go adopt another amazing, life-changing infomercial, insert here, AI tool, I want you to just close your eyes for a sec. Seriously, just close. I can tell you're not. Close your eyes. Ask yourself a couple of questions here. Am I clear on my priorities in my life and in my business? Am I clear? Do I know what they are? And do I know what they're not? Am I clear on my priorities? Ask yourself truly and honestly, do you have the energy to execute on a higher level, on the next level? Because if you do, whew, and you know what your priorities are, then here's the big one. Can you trust yourself to lead at another level? Do you know what your priorities are? Do you have the energy? Can you trust yourself to lead? Great. Now it's time to see what a little fuel can do to your existing flame. Let's put it on. Let's make this more impressive. Let's make it bigger. One step at a time, right? But don't automate first. Get the thinking right. Get the energy right. Get the persuasion right. Get the relationship with your family right. Right? Get yourself right. Act like it. Get your mind right. It's one of the tunes way back in the day as a lyric from a song. Act like and get your mind right. Act like who? Act like someone that has a centered, stable table. Stable table. Say that 5 times. Because if you don't have solid table legs, if you don't have solid answers to your priorities, your energy, and of course, your ability to trust yourself in what you're building, then let's just go call the demolition crew in and work backwards a little bit and clean up, right? So here's the thing. The future doesn't belong to people who simply put their credit card in to buy the newest and greatest tool. The people that went out and hired somebody and said, can you do this thing for me? I want this great automation. I want this system. It belongs to people with an internal foundation that is strong and understand how to then apply more of who they are into the world by using the right tools. AI doesn't save you. In fact, most recently, my opinion, take it or leave it, AI reveals who you really are. And it may not initially, but it will eventually. Give it time. And so, in the end, build the operator, then leverage AI to enhance the operation. Hopefully, this was helpful. Remember, get the thoughts right, and hopefully from there, you can leverage AI in the right, smart, effective manner to take you to that next level because your dreams, your goals matter. So we'll check you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Here we go.